Thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking your time to listen to what we've got to say. Now, I know you're interested in bookkeeping and accountancy services, but I think it's important that you know who you're dealing with. So I just want to tell you a little bit about who we are. And it's not a sales pitch, it's just I feel that we're going to go into a long-term relationship. It's important that you know what we're about. So I'm Stephen Englander. I started Accounts Direct way back in January 1990. It's a long time. In fact, we still have some of the first clients that we had back in January 1990, and we're acting for some of them, we're acting for their grandchildren. I mean, it's nothing like watching kids grow up to make you feel old. But, you know, Accounts Direct came from need. The whole concept came from need. I mean, accountants, it's this second order profession, but we brought Accounts Direct through because there's a great need in the community for accountants and bookkeepers that understand business. And I don't feel that that's really been serviced on. I mean, that's my opinion, my experience. And what makes it a little bit different is that I'm quite proud of our staff. We've got 30 staff. We've got over 1,000 clients that we look after. And like I say, we've been going since 1990. But what differentiates us a little bit is that life experience. Not the book learning, we have that, we have qualified accountants, but we have, we've all been through the mill. I mean, one of the things we always say is if you want to work with us as one of our senior advisors, you've got to have been skint at least once, because you don't learn anything unless you've been struggling yourself, and you've had to have been divorced at least once, because then you get some life experience, twice for me, thank you. And thirdly, you've got to be over 40. Somehow it's over 50 now. You know, but that's where we come from. We come from a background of we've been there, we've been on the shop floor, we've waited for those customers to walk through the door. And so everything about us is designed for that. I mean, my belief is that you don't go into business to bring stress, anxiety and problems to the door. And you go into business to bring a better lifestyle for yourself and your family, and hopefully more money. And my goal is to help you make your business a little bit better. I say a little bit better because if we help you make it a little bit better, that'll put you in a place for you to make it a lot better. And so all of our levels of services are all designed with that in mind. We start with, obviously the first thing is bookkeeping, because good bookkeeping is good business, but more importantly, bad business is bad business. So we're looking to take the hassle out of bookkeeping for you. So you're probably very capable of keeping your own books, but if we do it, it leaves you free to do something else, something more constructive, something more important, like maybe staying in bed a bit later. But if we're doing the bookkeeping for you, it does mean you can concentrate on other things. And if you do employ a bookkeeper, you can have them doing more direct things like collecting monies in and all the things that they should be doing when we do the numbers. But it's also important to have good records, not just to keep HMRC happy, not just to make sure you don't pay too much tax, not just so that you don't get any penalties because it's quite onerous, and if you do get an investigation, that we can handle it a lot easier because all the bookkeeping records are right. But we can then look at that bookkeeping, we can look at the records and the bookkeeping and analyse where you are. We can say, this is what's working, this isn't what's working, you're heading for cash flow issues, you're heading for surplus cash, this guy owes you this money, this one owes you that money, and we can introduce you to facilities that help. So for instance, if you've got some bad payers, maybe we can look at insurance to insure debts, or there's all sorts of things, so which I'm not really going to go into, but the idea is to get your books right, give you maximum information, advise you on that information, which is where our life experience comes in, and you will have a dedicated consultants looking after you. So bookkeeping, madly important. It's what I've grown up with, and it can take you a long way. We use state-of-the-art software, which we give you. It might be a brand like Xero or Sage, but we just give you that. You don't have to manage it. We just give it you so you can go and have a look what's going on, or raise invoices or whatever you want to do with it. But we're in the background managing it. Now we have three levels of bookkeeping service that suits different people. You can chop and change as you need it. The first one is where we just write everything up for you on an annual basis. So we do the tax returns. We'll balance off the VAT account, and we'll submit company tax returns and personal tax returns, and that's in our year-end package. We write everything from scratch, so you don't have to actually keep any books. We can even give you some software that you take a picture of the invoice and it goes straight into your account, so you don't need to start worrying about losing information. We can connect straight to your bank accounts. We can't get into your bank accounts, but at least we're downloading stuff, so you don't have to keep looking for it and reconciling anything. So you can do what you're best at, which is selling to customers and looking after customers. The second package we have is what we call our Gold package, and that's a quarterly service where we do everything we do in the year-end service, but we do it quarterly, and on top of that we do the VAT returns as well. The third one we have, which is the one I would always recommend, but if people do what they want to do, is our Platinum service. Now that's a monthly service, and we do everything we do on the Gold service except we do it monthly, and we reconcile those important debtors and creditors. So we just the more we're connected, the more information we can give, and therefore the more advice we can give. The fourth one, which I'm not really talking about today, is for those companies that are a little bit bigger, that want us to either replace their current bookkeeping facilities, or they want us to work with their current bookkeeping arrangements. That is a 24/7 connection. So, but look at the year-end package, look at the Gold package, the quarterly package, and look at the monthly package, because it's all most firms need. It doesn't matter how big you are. We've got clients with turnovers that are not quite registered for VAT, to companies turning over millions of pounds. So we can cope with everything and everyone. Our target market is somebody like yourself, who is an owner-run business. That means that you don't manage 20 shops, you work in the business yourself. So this is our take the hassle out of it for you. But then we want to make sure that you're not in any trouble. So people fall into trouble, in and out of trouble. It's usually with HMRC, but there's all sorts of business problems that come, whether you're causing it yourself because you're taking too much money out of business or you're not earning enough, or whether it's just because some disaster's hit you and you've not got contingency. So we look at all that on a regular basis. Even if you come to us now because you're in trouble, we'll sort all that out, put you in a proper way of working, and keep you out the mire, the brown stuff, and that to me is very important, because I've when you deal with people for so long, when you know the dads, when you know the grandparents, when you've dealt with someone for 20 years, you don't want to see people in trouble. So it is a genuine concern, and we've developed an understanding of why people get into trouble and how we can get them out of it and keep them out of it. And obviously the third thing, which people say, why don't you do this, the most important, which is helping you develop your business. And I say, well, if we don't get the first two right, it doesn't really, it's not going to work. But it's important that you do develop your business, that you work on the business. And sometimes, like I said before, people, they don't go into business for, cause problems for themselves or to increase their anxiety. And sometimes all it takes is a little bit of advice from someone that's been through it. So we have something like 1,500 people in one of our support groups, and all you do, you join the support group and you're in with another 20 people in a similar sort of area, and you can give advice, you can receive advice, and you can network a little bit. So 1,500 people at the moment, growing all the time. 1,500 people on top of some of them are part of the 1,000 people that we act for, but there's a lot more out there. So there's a lot of advice, and there's a lot of concern for your well-being behind just doing accounts. And this is why quite often we say, why do people recommend us to their friends? And it's because they like their friends. That's a good one. So I wanted you to understand where we're coming from before you make that decision, not to appoint us, but to join us. So please do consider everything I said. If you do want to go ahead and appoint us and join us, then just contact me, fill in the form on the website, and someone will contact you to go through the finer details, and we're away. It's as simple as that. Chuck all your paperwork into a box. Doesn't matter how many years you've got that haven't been done, we'll get it sorted for you, and we'll get you on the even keel, and we'll help you grow that business of yours. Thank you very much for listening to me. Take care.